All right, buckle up, everybody, because we are diving deep today.
Deep dive time.
That's right, let's do it.
Into a listener-requested topic.
Oh, fun.
I'm excited. This is Mahayana Buddhism.
Yes.
And, we're going way beyond just the surface level here.
Absolutely, yeah.
This isn't a quick
It's
Googler.
deeper.
This is the real deal.
Definitely.
You sent in some really fascinating excerpts about Mahayana history, the core ideas, how it shows up in the world today.
It's rich.
So it's clear to me you're ready to go deep.
Oh, but we're going in.
You want it all.
Absolutely.
So to set the scene a little bit, I always picture Buddhism like this giant ancient tree with these, two main branches.
Mm-hmm.
And on one side you have Theravada, the way of the elders. But we are hanging out on the other side today with Mahayana.
That's right. Which is also known as the Great Vehicle.
Yes, yes.
I mean, even the name, right?
Right, just sounds
evocative.
Epic and mysterious.
It is, and it's actually a fitting name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you see Mahayana kind of popped up on the scene around the 1st century CE.
Okay.
And, it wasn't like a clean break from Theravada. Like, they were friends one day and then enemies the next.
Right.
But it was a definite shift. The world was changing. Societies were becoming less about small villages and more about these bustling cities.
Oh, true.
Lots of change, new ideas, and so on. And Mahayana really offered a path to enlightenment that wasn't just for, monks meditating in a cave somewhere.
Right.
It was for everyone in this new world.
Oh, so more accessible Buddhism.
You could say that, yeah. It's interesting, especially when I think about what I know about Buddhism.
Yeah.
It seems like, at least from the outside looking in, that there are some really intense practices and ways of being.
Yeah.
It doesn't strike me necessarily right away as accessible.
Right, but Mahayana says, look, everyone has the potential to wake up no matter what their life looks like.
Interesting.
And that's where this, I think, radical idea of the bodhisattva comes in.
Ooh, the bodhisattvas.
Yes.
This is where things get really good, in my opinion.
It absolutely does. So picture this.
Okay.
You were this close to enlightenment, to nirvana, like the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah.
But then you choose to hit pause on your own liberation.
What?
To help every single being get there too.
No way.
That's a bodhisattva.
Hold on, seriously. Are you saying they're like, my enlightenment isn't real unless everybody gets to experience it?
That's a great way to put it.
Wow.
It's recognizing that deep down, we're all connected.
Yeah.
The great vehicle isn't a solo ride to liberation. It's like this giant cosmic road trip.
I love that.
And everyone is invited.
Okay, so the bodhisattvas are like the really compassionate guides on this road trip.
Yes, exactly.
Begin.
You've got Avalokiteshvara, the embodiment of compassion, often shown with 1,000 arms to help everyone in need.
1,000 arms. That's a lot of arms.
That's a lot of helping.
That is a lot of helping.
And then you've got Manjushri, who represents wisdom, cutting through ignorance with this flaming sword.
Okay, wait. So 1,000 arms and a flaming sword. These are some intense visual aids.
Right.
But this isn't just mythology, right?
No. This is a philosophy lived out.
Okay.
So the Bodhisattva path focuses on what's called the 6 perfections.
Okay, I've heard of these.
Generosity, ethical conduct, patience, effort, meditation, and wisdom.
Right, so it's not just enough to have these qualities.
Exactly.
You have to living them out.
It's not just about, meditating on mountaintops.
Right.
It's about bringing that peace into the world.
I love that because, we hear so much about meditation and mindfulness.
Yes.
Which is great, don't get me wrong.
Of course.
But this is like, okay, you found some peace, now what are you going to do with it?
Yes, what are you going to do with it to help others?
Exactly.
And speaking of things that can be a little tricky to wrap your head around at first, let's talk about emptiness.
Ooh, yeah, that one always makes me feel like I need another coffee just to understand it.
It's a big one.
So does this mean that, like, my comfy chair isn't really real?
Not quite.
Okay.
Emptiness, or shunyata in Sanskrit, is central to Mahayana,
Okay.
especially for a school of thought called Madhyamaka. And honestly, this concept can tie your brain in knots if you let it.
Oh, I believe it.
But at its core, it's about recognizing that things don't have some fixed, unchanging essence.
Okay, so my comfy chair doesn't have, like, a secret chair soul.
Not quite.
But it's still good for relaxing on after a long day.
Absolutely. It's not that things don't exist.
Okay.
It's that we tend to see them as so solid and independent,
Right.
which is just too limited of a view.
Okay, lay it on me. I'm ready for my brain to do a flip.
All right. Even modern science is kind of showing us that now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, think about quantum physics.
Okay.
It's showing us that even stuff that seems totally solid is actually mostly empty space at the subatomic level.
Wow.
That's pretty wild.
That's wild.
Yeah, and it's, everything's in constant flux, constantly interconnected.
So it's not that things don't exist, it's that our human brains or perception is just like,
Yeah.
we want to put things in a box.
Yeah.
We want to say this is this and that is that, but really it's all
connected.
It's all this like a mushy
It's all relative.
relative. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. And, understanding emptiness cultivates wisdom,
Okay.
or prajna.
Right, Prajna.
And when you pair that wisdom with compassion,
Yeah.
that's how you move toward enlightenment.
Right.
It lets you see past that illusion of separateness.
Right.
And act with more clarity, more kindness.
It's funny how we talk about, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Right.
But this is like, the more you understand emptiness, the more you see how connected everything is.
Yes. Perfectly said.
Wow.
And that's something I find so compelling about Mahayana.
Yeah.
It's full of these really profound teachings that are also surprisingly practical.
Okay.
It's not just this, airy philosophy.
Right.
It really can have an impact on how you live your life.
That makes sense given this whole bodhisattva ideal of taking action to help others.
Exactly.
But I have to admit, looking through all these sources you said, it seems like Mahayana has a lot of variety.
It does.
Different schools of thought, interpretations. It's a lot to keep track of.
Think of it like jazz music. Maybe you've got the heart of the music, the core elements. But then there are endless ways to kind of interpret and play with those elements.
Right.
Different styles for different folks.
I like that.
So in Mahayana, you've got major schools like Majamaka, which really dives deep into emptiness and the nature of reality.
Okay.
And then you've got Zen, which emphasizes direct experience and mindfulness, often through meditation.
Right. And I can't forget Pure Land Buddhism.
Yes.
Which seems to be its own thing.
It's very popular, especially in East Asia.
Right.
It's all about faith in Amitabha Buddha.
Okay.
So Amitabha Buddha has vowed to guide beings to his Pure Land.
Okay.
Is, this place where it's easier to reach enlightenment.
Okay, so each school is kind of offering a different lens, a different way to walk this path.
Exactly.
But it's all under this umbrella of Mahayana.
Yes.
It's almost like you get to choose the tools that speak most to you.
Yeah.
The ones that help you connect with that core message of compassion and universal liberation.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the most beautiful expressions of Mahayana's vastness, that depth of thought, is found in the Heart Sutra.
Okay, the Heart Sutra. Now, I've definitely heard of this.
Yes.
Full disclosure, I'm more familiar with the title than what's actually in it.
Of course.
It's something about the heart of emptiness.
That's the gist. It's a short text, but it's incredibly powerful.
Okay.
It gets right to the essence of Mahayana.
Okay.
And there's this one line that's practically a mantra. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form.
I feel like I need to write that down.
Right.
Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form.
Yes.
It's like a Zen koan or something.
It is like a koan. It's something that you can meditate on and unpack.
Yeah.
Keep finding new layers of meaning.
It's so simple, but it speaks to something really profound about reality.
It does.
About how we cling to the idea that things are separate when they're really not.
Yes, exactly.
It's like Mahayana is giving you permission to just question everything you think you know.
Yes, and to question it all with kindness.
Oh, I like that.
With a deep sense of compassion for yourself and for all beings.
It's beautiful.
That, to me, is the true beauty of Mahayana.
This has been really eye-opening, but I have to ask, how does all of this ancient wisdom apply in our modern world?
Right.
Because we're dealing with information overload, deadlines.
Right, social media.
Social media, exactly. It's a lot. It feels like the opposite of peaceful contemplation.
It's a valid question, and I think that's where Mahayana becomes even more relevant. Because while the world has changed a lot, the human experience, the internal and external challenges are surprisingly similar. And Mahayana, especially with its focus on what's called skillful means.
Skillful means, remind me what that is.
Yes, so skillful means, or Mahayana, is the idea that there's no one right way to approach the Dharma, the Buddhist teachings.
Oh, okay.
They should be tailored to the individual, the time, the place.
So it's adaptable.
It's adaptable.
I like that.
Right, so while some of the more traditional practices might still resonate,
Right.
new approaches are going to emerge.
Okay.
Adaptations for the modern world.
So meditation apps, online Dharma talks, things like that.
Exactly, but it goes even deeper than that.
Okay.
There's this whole growing movement called engaged Buddhism.
Engaged Buddhism.
Oh, which takes that bodhisattva ideal out of the monastery and into the real world.
I love that.
It's about applying compassion and wisdom to issues we're facing right now.
Wow.
So social justice, the environment, political activism.
So it's really about taking that idea of universal liberation and saying, okay,
Yeah.
how can we create a more just and compassionate world for everyone?
Exactly.
Not just focusing on my own personal enlightenment.
Precisely. And, even if we're not out leading protests or starting nonprofits,
Right.
the principles of Mahayana can still have a huge impact on our daily lives.
Right. Like just in the small things,
Yeah.
the way we interact with people at the grocery store or,
Yes, it all
Lots of
matters.
stuff.
Even the smallest acts of kindness, when they're done with the right intention, with that understanding of interconnectedness we talked about,
Yeah.
it all contributes to something bigger.
It's a ripple effect.
Exactly.
It's like, be the change, but with this Mahayana twist,
Yes.
it's more like recognize how deeply connected we are and let your actions just flow from that awareness.
Yes. And that, to me, is where I find so powerful and inspiring about this whole bodhisattva ideal.
Yeah.
It's not this one-time thing. It's this ongoing journey
Right.
of cultivating wisdom and compassion and showing up authentically for yourself and for others every single day.
We've covered so much in this deep dive. The history, the philosophy, different schools of thought, even how Mahayana is showing up in the world right now.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot to take in.
If you had to pick just one thing for our listener to walk away with.
Oh, that's tough.
I know, right? What's the one thing?
It's got to be the interconnectedness.
Okay.
That's the core of it, right?
Yeah.
Mahayana, at its heart, is a call to recognize that fundamental connection between all beings,
Yeah.
to see the potential for awakening in ourselves and in everyone we meet.
Right. And to act from that place.
Yes.
To act from that place of compassion.
Yes. Knowing that even small acts of kindness can create those ripples of positive change.
Beautifully said. And it's just a good reminder that none of us are on this journey alone.
We're not. We're in it together.
We're all in this together.
all figuring it out.
This whole conversation has got me thinking.
Yeah. How so?
If you could ask any figure from Mahayana Buddhism,
Okay.
a bodhisattva, a teacher, a historical figure, anyone,
Okay.
for guidance on a challenge you're facing, who would you choose and why?
Oh, that's a great question.
It's a tough one.
Honestly, I think I would seek out Avalokiteshvara,
Okay.
the bodhisattva of compassion,
Of course.
especially these days with so much, uncertainty and suffering in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of be in the presence of that boundless compassion.
Yeah.
That would be a truly transformative experience. I think.
I can see why you would choose Avalokiteshvara. There's a reason why that bodhisattva is so universally revered.
Yeah.
As for me, I think I'd seek out a Zen master. Someone who could help me quiet all the noise of the world
I like it.
and tap into that inner wisdom that we've been talking so much about.
There you go.
But those are just our picks, right?
Of course.
We want to hear from you, our listeners.
Yes, definitely.
If you could meet any figure from Mahayana Buddhism, who would it be?
Yeah, who would it be?
And what kind of guidance would you ask for?
That's the big question.
Let us know. Hit us up on social media.
Let's keep this conversation going.
Yeah, because we love to hear from you. We love hearing what you're thinking.
Always.
And with that, I think we've reached the end of our very deep dive
Deep dive complete.
into this incredible world of Mahayana Buddhism.
It's incredible.
We hope you found this exploration as enriching and thought-provoking as we did.
We did.
And just remember, this is only the beginning.
It is.
There's a whole universe of wisdom
a whole universe.
within these teachings waiting to be discovered.
Go explore.
Keep exploring, keep asking those questions.
Yeah.
And most importantly, keep cultivating that boundless compassion.
The world needs it.
Until next time, happy listening, everybody.